What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and here we are yet again. I want to talk about all of this Scream 7 stuff. There's been seemingly stuff every couple hours, updates even on the filming for Scream 7. I kind of want to get to the bottom of who's lying and who isn't lying, because I feel like there's just a lot of the story that's been purposely excluded, right, for the purpose of trying to make Spyglass most likely look good. I want to try to discuss all that, in this live stream, and there'll be videos over the next couple days as well where we, I guess, continue it. But you know what? From the looks of things, the movie's still obviously being worked on. It's still going to film. It's still going to release. And then we just have to discuss, if we support it, watch it, who's going to be caring about it, how well it'll do, all that jazz. So maybe we can talk about some of that stuff as well. So welcome in. Happy Black Friday. Hopefully you guys had an awesome Thanksgiving yesterday. Would have live streamed yesterday if I could, but here we are on Black Friday. So welcome in. If you want to, talk obviously back and forth, the chat, leave questions or comments. And I try, especially when I'm by myself, right? When I'm alone here, I'll try to read as many of your comments as possible. And you guys can really, I guess, steer the conversation as to where you want to go. So let's get into it. I want to start just with the people. Firstly, hello to Anthony and Duncan that were here beforehand. Appreciate you guys being here. Honestly, this taints the franchise for me a bit. I'm not interested in seeing any more Scream movies made by Spyglass. Yeah, we can start there, right? So you have the talks of their wish list, right? The Nev Campbell and Patrick Dempsey are on their wish list. Now, I think a lot of that stuff is honestly fake. Not that they don't want them back, but the sense that they have this wish list, right? I think that is kind of a fake thing, because there really goes into the contract situation, all this stuff. What actually happened, right? Because if you wrote the script, and if the script is has been reported to be this dual kind of story, right? Sydney's story and then Sam and Tara's story. Well, that right there is honestly already confusing, because Tara has now been rumored that she was just going to be a cameo, a few scenes she was going to be in, and that's it. Chad would be with her, right? All this stuff. But then, like, which is true? Was that true? But also, you were gonna. So I guess in that way, you were gonna have a Sydney storyline. You were gonna have a Sam storyline, and then you were gonna have, and I mean that would be it. And then you have Tara kind of off to the, I guess, with Chad. So Mindy wouldn't be there, and Mindy would maybe be with Sam, and that immediately already like dismisses one of those two rumors, at least in my opinion. Also, I think we're gonna get this. Heard the rumors of a full reboot for 7. I actually haven't. I from what I've seen so far, it seems, and this is actually what worries me. And we talked about this. What worries me is the newest rumor that the script is actually already further along than we think it is. Now, like, Variety just reported that like they're going back to the drawing board and they have to like redo the whole thing. We did speculate that because Sydney's part is already done, that maybe you can borrow a ton of that stuff. Here's the issue, though. We already talked about the killers that were supposed to be Christina Carpenter and Leslie Mocker. So if you do Sydney's story and you just shift it over to what this movie will now be, well, we already know a killer. So you cannot, I think you cannot do that. I think you have to change some things. You cannot literally just take Sydney's story and drag it over into this new, like, you have 2 monitors and old script, new script, and you just, pull it over. I don't think you can do that at all, because you already know a lot of what's going to happen now. I guess you don't know deaths or, twists and turns like that, but you do know the final outcome of who's the killer. So I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. If they're going to use it, fine. You know what I mean? But you got to change a couple things. So that's one thing. But that's like the newest stuff as of like a couple hours ago. That was like the newest rumor, is that the movie's going to be delayed a little bit. It's still going to be filming this year, releasing next year. Nope, sorry. Well, I mean, I'm thinking as if we're in 2024, filming in 2024, releasing in 2025, and like then people are kind of throwing in that the Nev thing is already done potentially, which begs the question, like, will Nev actually do it? Because I made the joke yesterday, I think on, or maybe not on Thanksgiving, maybe the day before, of like, how much money are they offering her now? This is going to get very, not me, but like they are going to get very like political very, very quickly, because it's like now you have to like decide who you're with. And again, that begs the question on contracts, like who was signed up. I guess how I read it, let me just go on a rant here really quickly, because I think this will eventually be I'm not going to like steal this part, but this will eventually be the basis of a video I want to do. I don't understand the contract thing. I think it's because they're lying. So here's how I see the contract. Okay. I think everybody had a contract. That's my opinion. And I think the lie is them saying that they didn't because there's too many conflicting reports, even in what they've already said. So like Jasmine and Mason already had contracts. But Jenna and Melissa didn't because they only had a 2-picture deal. So I guess the other two had 3-picture deals. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Whatever. Okay. But already there, it's like, well, your 2 main stars don't, but your 2 backups do. That doesn't really make sense to me. And then, okay, but then how can Melissa be fired? And maybe it's like Hollywood terminology that I just don't understand. But how can Melissa be fired from Scream 7 if she was never signed on or dropped? I mean, they said quietly dropped, right? Well, if you're dropped, doesn't that mean you were part of the project? And she wasn't. Unless you mean, well, she was part of the script, but that doesn't mean she's part of the project. And also, why would you write a script that has Melissa or Sam as half the story and Sydney as the other half the story without knowing that you're going to get? Because that would be very different than last time, right? Like Sydney in 6 was only going to be a small part. And they wrote it kind of with the hope that Nev would come back, not knowing for sure. But this time they wrote it like 50-50, seemingly, right? So if you're going to do that, don't you know you have them? I think you do. And that's why I think when you quietly drop somebody, it means they were part of the project. Then you have the timing with Jenna that she, did it the day after Melissa. And maybe scheduling conflicts. Maybe she didn't have a contract. I think she did have a contract. So the way I look at it, I keep going back and forth, I guess, like in my head. But if I had to make an answer, I feel like Nev already has a contract. And that would be like my guess or my prediction. This just doesn't really make sense, all the stuff that's happened. So let's read more comments and then we'll keep hearing my thoughts. Breakops, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for being here. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys are either shopping online or you already shopped or you're going shopping on this Black Friday. I got some stuff a few days ago, not actually on Black Friday. I really think Nev will decline however much money they offer her, then they could be forced to sell the franchise. Yeah, I mean, and like I actually kind of want that. I mean, the best case scenario for like morality to like win out is that they like they can't get anybody back because like a full on reboot of Scream, let's say, full on, like literally no legacy at all. Like Courtney says no, and Hayden and Nev. So you literally have no, like maybe you get Roger L. Jackson back, right? So that's all you got. And you have like the Ghostface like property. And then you go into and it's like literally brand new. As we talked about, Scream 7 is not really the time to do that, like at all. So I think it'd be a terrible idea. And that's why, maybe, yeah, they'd be forced to sell it. Maybe you can make amends with everybody. You'd have to have like literally the perfect storm, right? You'd have to have everybody decline. You'd have to have Spyglass truly like freak out and sell. You'd have to have the new company come in and say, okay, we want Melissa back. But then like now Jenna, like she's literally busy. So you either, have her as a cameo or you hold off on Scream 7 until Jenna is ready, which is probably like a year from now, and then you do it, which also just seems highly unlikely. And again, the entire thing is like, that's a perfect storm, right? You have to have everything working at the same time. Let me go like this. Oh, not that far. I don't want you guys to see. There you go. That's a little bit better, right? Do we actually have any confirmed cast yet? Surely they can't have a full script. Exactly. That's why I think they do have a cast, right? Because you can't just have people. Yet again, I mean, when you write things, I guess it's different, right? If you're writing for like a new property versus like the third movie in a trilogy or with established characters, right? Like with the Nev Campbell and stuff. Because like if you're just writing, you don't have to have deals with actors, right? But if you're writing like a new Scream movie or say like an Avengers movie, right? Let's just go like all the way big, right? If you write an Avengers movie, you need to know that you have them because you're not going to sync like writing takes a while, right? It seems like 2 months is like the bare minimum or bare minimum. Sometimes writing scripts for even a movie takes 2, 3, 4, 5 months, okay, to write. So you're not going to have writers, plural, sometimes maybe one, maybe a couple. You're not going to have them working for almost half a year and paying them all this money if you don't even have the people that you need, because then they write it and they say, and then you show it to the company and they say, well, we don't like, we're not getting Nev back. So I know she's in 50% of your script, but you got to like get rid of that. And it's like, well, okay, it would have been nice to have known that early, right? So yeah, I just don't understand that. I don't understand that. People think losing the storyline is the worst, but in SPME cases, to me, Scream can be done very well with different takes and new cast anthology types. See Scream TV series. Love that show a lot. That's true. And I agree. That's a good point. Here's a couple things to throw in. Okay. I like the Scream TV series a lot as well. I hated, by the way, though, season 3, the MTV one, despised it. And that was more of like an anthology thing. So that definitely sucked to me. So I would be okay with it, but then a few things to throw in. Number one, Scream is still niche. And I think you got to go with why do you think Jenna is there? At least, I guess they got her as she was kind of climbing up, right? Not when she was like that big, but you have a Melissa Barrera who's completely unknown, I believe, to the wide audience when you have her in Scream 5. Jenna is like on her way up, and then Jenna explodes, and then going into Scream 6, she is the thing, right? So they kind of got lucky there. But you're still doing it with Ghostface. You're still doing it with some legacy cast. So I guess a few more things to throw in. Now, Scream 7 to me is not the time to do this. I think you can do it and it would work potentially. I guess that's a possibility of working, right? But I don't think Scream 7 is the place to do it because it was the ending of the trilogy, right? Like to get the ending of that story, maybe even to wrap up Sydney's story and all that. You would wait till like the next movie. Like it wouldn't be called Scream. And see, they really shot themselves in the foot when they did Scream instead of Scream 5. That was so dumb because now I think Scream 8, if you really want to do like a lot of forward thinking, Scream 8 could just be called Scream. You could do Scream 1, 2, 3. And I think that would be a good time to hit the restart button, right? But now like you can't really because you called Scream 5 Scream. And that didn't really make sense. I know it was kind of like poking fun at it, but I don't really think it was actually. I think they just wanted that. So yeah. So I'd say you got to be careful because there is a possibility you would fail because with everything new, you have nothing really to fall back on. And that's sometimes when you get like your best stuff, right? You got to go for it. But these people are, a lot of people don't have a lot of talent in Hollywood. So that would be a problem. So you're banking on people, kind of supporting that. And then this is not the time to do something like that, right? It's probably Scream 8. But that's just me. That's just me. And ultimately, I don't think we're going to get that anyway. I think they're going to, they're going to get whatever. They're going to pick up the crumbs, and figure out how to do a Scream 7 with whoever they got left. I think that's going to be the plan, which is not the way that I think they planned it originally. Nev is going to walk into yeah, exactly. And see, and that's tough. That's tough. She's going to walk into a PR nightmare and taint her reputation so hard if she signs on to this. I can't imagine her ever agreeing to it. But I guess, again, what you got to remember is like these people could be stuck, right? I guess there's probably a difference between so like Mason and Jasmine, they have contracts, right? So like they could try to get out of their, which was the reported Jenna Ortega thing, right? And it's like, well, did she have a contract or did she not? Nobody really knows, I guess, because there's too many stories. But like Jasmine and Mason, they're too close like that. Those two, what makes it okay if they film, right? Do you need to get a report that they were already signed on, they tried to get out of their contract and they couldn't? So I guess what I'm saying is, like, to avoid a PR nightmare, does everybody that's signed on right now have to have some PR rep throw out there that they attempted to get out of their contract and they just weren't able to? Because again, I'm not saying like this specifically in Nev Campbell. I think Nev Campbell has pretty solid like morals, and she's clearly stuck to them for a long time. But remember what I've said, like with Steven and all that stuff. So many people in Hollywood are spineless, right? They go with the popular trend. They're scared. They're wimps. They're cowards. They do what they're told. They don't do what if they're told not to do something, they don't do that as well, right? Like you do have to remember that Hollywood is generally scum. Okay. And again, I'm not saying that specifically for any of these people, but the mentality of Hollywood is like, even if you believe in something, you kind of shut your mouth and just like go along with it because like you can get completely ruined. You can get completely shut out of Hollywood. And, some of like a Mason or Jasmine, they're still young, right? Like Nev, maybe, yeah, she can make a stand. She's older. She's maybe done with it in 10, 15 years anyway. But like Mason and Jasmine, like, they're in their late 20s, right? They probably want to stick around a while. So I don't know. I don't know what these people have to do to it's not, and that's what I said in the very beginning of this live stream, right? It's not only the movie seems like it is going to happen and is going to be published, people are going to be able to watch it, but then it's like all this name calling and finger pointing of, oh, you saw the movie, you must support, all this bad stuff, or you're this, you're that, or then the actors, oh, they're scum, they're this, they're that. It's tough. It's tough. I'll look at it as just like, at least from like a viewing perspective, it's entertainment. It's escapism. If you want to see the movie, you see it. If you don't want to see it, you don't want to see it. Like that's ultimate. And I've gone through this like with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp stuff where it's like, I am not watching Aquaman 2, but like if you do, it's your money. It's not my money. I don't care what like it's not my right. It's not anybody's right to tell somebody else what to do with their money, right? So, and I guess it's the same thing with like their lives. Like it's not up to you. And I'm not saying it to like this comment. It's not up to us to tell Nev to not accept the offer. That's on her. You know what I mean? I guess you can have an opinion on it, but ultimately it's her choice. You have the right to spend money on the movie or not spend money, but you don't really have the right to demand another person to say, hey, nope, you're not spending that $20 on that movie ticket. Well, it's not your $20, right? That's not your right to say that. And I've tried to hold that like that's my center, as a channel, as a person. And I say that with games all the time, right? So I try to stick by that because I really, I believe in that. I really try to, do it. So yeah, you can not agree or support, but you can't really control others, which is sad. I mean, wouldn't it be great if you could just control the whole world? I mean, some people, Scream TV series is one of my favorite pieces of Scream media. Had nothing to do with the OG franchise. Scream 7 could work as a new cast, but I prefer to finish Sydney's story. Yeah. See that? Okay. I probably should have read your next comment because I think we're kind of on the same, thing. Now would be a good time for a Scream TV show, to kind of just, like get away from all this stuff and just, distract the masses. Like just get a TV show. Yeah, that was the rumor. That was the rumor. I think people's like wires are being crossed. Not yours. Again, like I'm not talking specifically to you. But like that was the reported script was Leslie Mocker and Christina Carpenter were the killers. And it like because Critical Overlord had said that like Christina would be trying to mend the relationship with Sam. And so I assume that it'd be Christina attacking Sam and that group, and it'd be Leslie attacking Sydney. People were telling me in comments, well, it should be reversed, or that what I said doesn't make sense. It should be reversed. But I don't think you can reverse it because if the rumor is that Christina is trying to like form a mom-daughter relationship with Sam, well, how can she be doing that, but then also attacking Sydney someplace? Like, are they in the same city? Are they not? It didn't seem like they were, so they were separated. You know what I mean? So that's how I assumed it was Leslie Mocker going after Sydney, which that, and like I said, I don't like that. I appreciate that they're bringing these people in, I suppose, but why would Stu's sister wait so long to target Sydney, And people said, well, maybe they were going to go after Sam and Tara because of, Vince dying, but like they didn't kill Vince. Like it doesn't even, I don't understand. I don't get it. Yes, exactly, Carl. That's a good point. They could still use Leslie and Christina, but make them red herrings if everyone thinks they're the exactly. Now honestly, you lean into it. That's what you lean into it without you lean over the railing, but you don't like fall over, right? You lean into, okay, everybody knows now Leslie. And I mean, this has happened before. Scream 2, right? Like when scripts leak and stuff and they have to like do a little quick reversal, it's not like it's never happened. So, people knowing it's Leslie, fine. You still have her and you make her very close to being the killer, and then she dies and she's not the killer, right? It's like you could easily, but now you have to find a killer that makes sense. And honestly, those two killers didn't even make sense. So I am worried about, their choices of killers. So yeah, just to throw that out there. I think Spyglass is throwing so many stories out to the trades to try to get people to stop talking about Melissa and Jenna as much as possible. It's a clear spin and desperation. Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's a great read on the situation. I think that's true. I think they're trying to confuse people. I think the Nev stuff, the wish list, I think that is to distract and say, look, it's our goal to get Nev and Patrick back. And it's like, well, you already got them back. Like again, you probably 95% likelihood got them back and they're already signed up, right? You just want to throw that out there so you can dangle the keys and say, no, look, we got Nev, or we want Nev, and then we can throw the story out that Nev has signed on. Whereas, so you don't look at the firing. So yeah, I think there's a lot of manipulation going on, and like I said, like there's just so many stories that don't line up. How can you drop Melissa if she was never signed on? I mean, I guess you can call it that, and maybe that's how Hollywood does it. But I mean, in which case it's so dumb, which is not uncommon because it's Hollywood. But like that would be a terrible like saying for it. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So I think Melissa had the contract. She was in. The money thing was interesting, right? Where it was like they needed more money or Jenna asked for more money and they said like it was too much for them. And it's like, oh my God. So wait, so you were negotiating, but if you were negotiating with Jenna, then why was she in the script only in 3 scenes? And like she was gonna, like, did she sign on for that? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Let's get the super chat and then we'll go way, way back. Appreciate you guys. You guys rock. And I appreciate the super chat. Really do. Appreciate your willingness to hear everyone's perspective. There were early morning reports of Jenna leaving because of Melissa before anything was officially confirmed. Wishful thinking or true? Well, firstly, again, thank you so much. And secondly, yes, I try when I'm by myself, and this is for gaming too. I mean, you guys obviously would only know this for Scream, but I really we talked. We did many live streams for Scream 6 too. When it's just me, I try to read every comment, give you guys the respect and time, you're owed by watching me. So I appreciate that. And yeah, no, that's a great point. And see, that's where I think like the mask was kind of coming off, right? That early report so what was the earliest report, right? The earliest report was that Jenna was trying to get out of her contract. So there you go. She had a contract, right? Now, was that just a tabloid that had no idea what they were talking about? Well, I don't think so. I have a feeling they knew what they were talking about. So yeah, I'm inclined to believe that. I'm inclined to believe she had a contract. And now how does that work? I have no idea, right? She had a contract and then she used and it doesn't make sense because like she would have had like 2 months to film this thing. That's another thing that really doesn't line up for me, right? The reported start time to film Scream 7 was early March, and the reported start time to film Wednesday season 2 is late April. So you got like a month and a half. How can Jenna only be in 3 scenes? That would take like a day. I mean, obviously things move slow when you're filming. So let's say a day a scene. So 3 days, right? How does it take, or why is she in 3 scenes when she's got like 6 weeks to film? That makes no sense to me. No sense. So I think she had a contract. Maybe I want to go all the way. I think Jenna had a contract, and I think she was in this thing a bunch. I don't know. Like I want the truth, and we're not going to get it this close, right? Because there's all this fallout, and I'm sure there's all these legal things going on. Maybe in like 5 to 10 years, you have people like Kevin Williamson did a bunch of stuff, later on what his 4, 5, 6 would be, and I don't know, all this stuff. So maybe you just got to give it like half a decade, and then you'll find out. Yeah, so originally, I don't know. Like Critical Overlord's the closest thing we got to what the original script would be, but even that has discrepancies with everything that we've kind of heard. So it's like, I want the original script, like a fit, like I'm not saying that. Like literally leak it. Somebody, or maybe 5 years from now, for fun, they'll like say, okay, well we can just show it off. We'll just tell you what the original script would have been. I don't know. I don't know. Another super chat from the Ashton Luca. Thank you. If you do super chats, in case you didn't, like, I try to read it first. We'll go back and read all the comments, but if you want something read, immediately or above somebody else, super chats are the way to go. Also, the rumors of there being 3 scripts, and then no, actually, there wasn't a script, and they were only signed on for two movies. So many misdirects. Oh my, I didn't see that. 3 scripts, and then there wasn't a script. Yeah, no, I didn't see that one. That's hilarious. Because that's just not true, right? There's no way that's true. And yeah, I don't know. Like, again, like, I'm not again, appreciate the super chat. I don't know how Hollywood works. Like, is it common to sign not your leads to 3-year deals, but then sign your leads to only 2? Like, is that how it works normally? Because like that doesn't make no. I know is it called an option, right? Or there's like that word to indicate where you sign them, say, for 3 movies, but they have or you have the option to renegotiate after whichever. So the Jenna one maybe was they signed her for 3, but after 2, she was given the ability to renegotiate her pay for the third one. And that's where things broke down. And maybe Melissa did too. But like, why did Mason and I'm saying, yeah, Mason. He's like, I could just say like Chad and Mindy, or Jasmine and Mason, but like I'll get them all mixed up. But then why are they signed on? Like, why would you sign those? Not that I like them generally. I especially like Chad and Six, and Mindy's fine overall. But like, why would you sign them? It would be like, don't you sign like the bigger names? I don't know. I don't know how Hollywood works. Okay. Well, back to the comments. Do you think if a new company buys the rights, they'll continue the carpet? Or I'll just finish the comment first. Or would it be better just to reboot? I like to see more of the core 4, but a reboot might be the best thing. I think, like I said, I think the best case scenario, well, not to just re-say what I said. Like, okay, if you want to like capitalize on Jenna Ortega, right? And that would be like the plan. You know what I mean? So if you're a new company, you buy it and you say, like, why would you buy it? Well, ultimately it's like greed, right? Like all these companies, so like their executives are maybe just as dumb as Spyglass. So you don't know for sure. But like, I would hope you buy it with the case of trying to save what they've been doing. So like, you'd want Melissa back, and if you get Melissa back, you'd want Jenna back. But again, like, the issue is Jenna Ortega's so busy, right? So like, that would be tough. But no, I don't. Like, if somebody buys them right now, I would expect, let's say, right? I expect the Carpenters, not something new. So yeah. I know you and Craven sort of already discussed this, and it's not even what I necessarily want from the franchise, but they might as well go back and do a prequel to one of the earlier films. Yeah, no, and it's okay. We could, if we've already talked about a topic a different day, we can totally talk about it now. No, yeah, and that's definitely an option. Like I said, like, to be fair, we're not going to get too far into the Stu thing, right? Because I'm not like necessarily on the Stu train, but like, Stu is, I think, a conversation you need to have, just to at least have it, right? Just to see if you can do something there. And then I think this is something that you might want to like, well, and I guess maybe it's not, right? Because the rumor is like, maybe you just keep Nev's story or Sydney's story. So it would be chronologically in order is probably what's going to happen. I would say Scream 7 is still going to be in order. And you just like tell us that the Carpenter sisters are off in hiding. Okay. And as long as you don't kill them, like, that would just be putting, like, I don't even know what would possess you to do something like that, right? So as long as you don't kill those two, you just say they're in hiding, and maybe, like Nev, Nev was burned by them last movie, and she came back. Most likely, she might come back. So maybe these two, maybe you do a Scream 8 in 3-4 years. Spyglass doesn't have the rights anymore, and you bring these two back, even if it's not their story. Maybe they're just characters that are now. Jenna might be so big that it's just ridiculous, and you're not going to do that, right? But like, I am trying to think about it long term as well, where it's like, as long as you don't kill them, you could bring them back. It could be okay. But I think you discuss every possibility. So I think there should be a discussion on, do you pretend like 5 and 6 didn't happen? Now the issue is it's the writers of 5 and 6, so you're not going to do that, right? And that's the short answer. That's why I saved it for the end. If Nev has hold on. I always get these stupid, like, has anybody noticed that there's more spam emails now than maybe ever before? Because I've been getting emails that are spam. Just to throw that out there. If Nev has a contract already, that might be why Spyglass are keen to push ahead. If they postpone, her contract might become void. Yep. And so I don't know how that stuff works, but that certainly sounds like something. Um, yeah. Yeah. But I assume, like, what if you wait too long and you don't do it, well, then, like, the contract expires, or it's like, well, let's renegotiate or whatever. So yeah, I think you got to keep going, right? Opinions on canceling, postponing Scream 7 until everything is resolved. Yeah, honestly, like, that's what I would want. My best, even in this case with Spyglass, the best, like, final situation would be apologize. Like, truthfully, you can't, like, do this, like, lowball apology. You sincerely apologize to these people and you just wait. I think you'll wait until you can get everybody in, right? So I think you wait for Jenna, and that's not going to happen. That's the thing. That's not going to happen. But my best case scenario, yeah, is you just, like, everybody sit back and just, like, take a breather. I know people's attention spans suck, but, like, if you don't release a Scream movie every year, I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, I think it'll still make money, right? And I don't know if, and there is reason to believe that's not true, maybe because people's attention spans do suck and you might forget about it. Not us, right? But so yeah, I don't know. That's what I would want, though. That's a good comment or question. If Nev had a contract, why would Spyglass put out the trade? She's on their wish list. Wouldn't they want to announce her to overshit? I feel like if you announced her, say, like, Wednesday, the day Jenna left, which, that's funny, isn't it? Wednesday. If you announced her, I feel like that would make her look terrible, right? So I feel like there's almost a balancing act, but and I don't know who's got the rights to, like, say that stuff, right? Like, does Nev have any right to say, "Hey, you are not announcing that I'm joining this thing the day that you freaking fire the lead, or the day after, where the most popular of all of us, she quits on you. I don't want you to tell them that I'm joining those 2 days, right?" I don't know if she has that right. But I really think that could be the reason, right? I agree with you. That is a good point. Like, why wouldn't you just announce it to completely overshadow it? I think it's something you do in the next few weeks. I think it's something you do very soon. You don't wait on it, but you don't do it, like, the day that all this stuff happened, right? That's what I think. That's a good point, though. Um, Yo, Alex, big fan. Do you think Scream 7 will still happen without the main focus? I think they should have stuck to the OG. When you say OG, do you mean Sydney, Gale, and all them, or do you mean or do you mean Melissa and them? I think. Do you think Scream 7 will still happen? Yes. Yes, I do. Um, man, it's just gonna feel jarring. Like, I think it could still work. It's just gonna feel very different. Like, you've had these two leads generally through the first two movies of this new trilogy. Especially Sam, and even I didn't like her in 5. Still don't. I like her more than I did. I still don't think she's a great character in 5. And Jenna is just not in 5 all that much. So, like, 5 was kind of like just all this mixing and matching. But, like, it's just gonna feel weird for this final movie. And I'm gonna say it right now, the ending of 6 is not like this perfect, like, farewell to these characters. I don't care what you say. Because yes, she drops the mask when Tara, like, snaps her out of it, but it's clearly that she still has that darkness in her. She stole the mask and didn't even realize she had it until she got outside and then looked down and she realized she was holding it. She's clearly, and, like, the whole idea of 6 is that she would, like, lose herself and almost get this, like, weird possession, which I like. I like that. Get this weird, like, possession thing by Billy, or where she just kind of loses herself and Tara snaps her out of it. That's where 7 was going. Like, I'll fight you over it. Like, that is true. And the ending of 6, I think, proves that. Okay. So I will not take any of this garbage that 6 is, like, this great ending. And, at least we still got that. No, I think it still kind of hurts, because I think it hurts 6, because now there's no conclusion to that. So that's my hot take. I don't even think it's a hot take. I think that's the right thing to say. So I'm gonna say it. Nev and Courtney both had script approval in their contracts before and only signed on based on the script. So there's no way they are locked in if the scripts are being rewritten. But like the script was done. The script was done, and then now it has to be rewritten. So maybe they have to like renegotiate. So yeah, it's possible they're not signed on. It's tough, right? Because like we do not know. I do not know. But I assume they were signed on. They might film it in late 2024 and it might come out in 2026. Yeah. Yeah, at this point, well, um like that would be if things got pushed, right? So you film it, you basically do what you did with Scream 5 and you're just like a year pushed out. So you film it in the fall of 24 and then it comes out January of 26. Yet again, but they're faster than that. They're normally faster than that. And in which case it would be like even if you film late next year, the movie would still come out then like September of the year after, September of 25. I don't think it comes out in 26 bearing another disaster because we already had a disaster. So I guess bearing a second one, you know, they can move on to subtitles once they do the reboot. Yeah, I don't know. They could. But Scream is, I don't know. I'm too much of like a stickler for what's come before, right? So like Scream, it's always been just numbers. Scream, Scream 2, Scream, not Scream 3, the last Scream, or like things like that. Or and I like Pirates of the Caribbean is still like my favorite franchise. Scream is probably like my second favorite franchise. Pirates is my first. And Pirates has always Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't even think Pirates has numbers in them. They just have, you go in order. It is Pirates 3, but it's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. And I like that. I love subtitles. But when you don't do it and then you start doing it, now it's just weird. Now it's not for me anymore. I feel like Scream 5 is going to be, yeah, I think it's got to, right? I think it's got to. You have to fix that, especially. I mean, that would be kind of a cool story, right? Like you go into Scream 8 and like the press and stuff leading into it is like it's going to be called Scream. And then they say they're transparent and they say, "Look, we're going to go back to Scream. And because we don't want to make this any more confusing than it has to be, Scream 2022 is actually now Scream 5. Like we are amending the title and changing it." Now can you do that legally? Because like you could buy it like our copies at home, right? If for anybody that and I have it, the 4K thing, right? It's not Scream 5. So like how does that work? I don't know. Has it ever happened? Has a movie ever changed titles? This is a good question for you film aficionados out there. Has a film ever changed its title after it's released? Well, Birds of Prey did. Birds of Prey did, but it was already out. It was out in film in theaters right before in 2020. It was out in theaters, but it hadn't come out on like services or like physical yet. It was still out in theaters, and they changed the name. That's the only one I can remember off the top of my head. I don't watch a lot of movies though, so maybe you guys know. Wouldn't Melissa have to have had a contract in order to be exactly? Otherwise, the story would be them letting her walk pretty much. Right. Right. And then you have all that confusion where it's like, well, because then there's the rumor, right, that they didn't want to pay her. And to avoid another payments controversy, because they already did that once, they nitpicked what she said online and fired her for that. But then the question is, well, like again, like you're still firing her, so that's kind of. I mean, and that could have happened, but I really think she was. I don't know. Like I don't think it was. At least for her, I don't think it was money. I don't think it was money. If they don't have Mason, Jasmine, they're screwed. The whole movie just focus on Nev, and Mark and the kids. Yeah, I mean, but like my opinion is like I don't see why you have Chad and Mindy in there anymore unless they are heavy supporting characters that are in it for like 10 minutes each. Because without Sam and Tara, it just doesn't feel right to me that those two are there, They're probably going to just cut Mason and Jasmine's characters and have to either do a full reset or do a separate OG Nev story. They can't do anything with Scream 5, 6 now. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's, I want and I guess that's the question, right? Do you keep it moving forward? He's like, I also think you can't have Christina Carpenter, right? Like, why would you have their mom if they're not in the movie? So now you really have to make it some OG story. And you can put it chronologically in order. You could put it after 6, but like you can't, yeah, 5 and 6, like you're done for now. You're done for now. You pick it up, maybe, like I said, like wishful thinking is, hey, 5 years from now, you do a Scream 8, you lose Spyglass, they're done, and you bring the core 4 back, or they come back in a Kirby type role where they are not, again, the main, right? But they are secondary kind of characters that help. And you get Melissa, in her late 30s, or you get Jenna in her late 20s, and you bring them back, right? So that's wishful thinking, but it can happen. Like it happened with Kirby. It happened with Sydney. A lot of different things have happened, with that cast. So Cream, 5 Cream. Yeah, those were the days. And now we're not there anymore. I can't stand that moral grandstanding. I assume that's when I was talking about the money and stuff. Yeah. Everybody spends their money how they want. If Scream 7 does, now you can like have an opinion. But even I've stopped. I used to do a video series, and I think I maybe even did it with Scream 5 back in the day, where I would title it Why I'm Buying or Why I'm Getting X Thing, and You Should Too. And I actually stopped saying and you should too because I didn't want to push the idea, I actually that was a thing I did. Now I just say why I'm getting blank game or why I'm watching Scream 6. If Scream 7 doesn't have Tara or Sam, the box office will fail. More Tara. More Tara. I think if you lost, this is a hot take. Like I'm not dismissing the moral stuff of Melissa and all that stuff that happened. But if you lost Melissa and Sam, but you still had Jenna for like 6 weeks to film, say, in this like perfect world, I don't think the box office would be hurt all that much. I really don't, because I think you would have generally gotten over it at least enough. And I think Jenna is by miles the bigger name than Melissa, and has been for a few years, will be going forward now, you know. So yeah, that's just my opinion though. With how much Sydney has stood by actors, it wouldn't surprise me if she refuses to participate because of the disrespect. That's true, and that's true. Like that's her background, right? That is her background. It's just I think now it's the legal stuff of like, did they already have her where she can't leave, right? If Melissa was signed, then I wonder if she had a case to sue for wrongful dismiss. And that, I mean, that is what people are discussing online, right? Like, could she sue them? I don't think she was actually signed, thus making it easy for them to legally drop her. Yeah, and that is a very good point. That I like this back and forth, right? Did she not sign? No, because that is a good point. If she signed, you got to imagine there were legal people in the room when the phone call was made or the whatever was dropped, and if they believed that she could go after them, then they probably wouldn't have done it, right? So maybe she can't go after them. Yeah, that's fair. Um, it could be like a Johnny Depp thing too, because like the early stuff with Johnny Depp for like Pirates 6, right, was like he was writing it, he was going to be in it. There were like early talks of like a contract, but he never signed it. So he can't legally like attack Disney for all that stuff because he wasn't, all the way. But he was very close. And maybe that's the same thing for Melissa. Maybe they had a number, maybe they were ready, but she just literally did not sign the contract, but they had all the pieces together for her to sign. She just didn't do it yet, and they could still do it, right? They were probably going to use Jenna like they used Sydney in Scream 3, just space her out a bunch of feels like she's in it more. Yeah. Yep. That's what I was expecting. The rumor of her being in like 3 scenes or whatever, no. I would not have accepted that. So I turned on YouTube notifications for the live and nothing. Lame. Dang it. No, YouTube is, you know, that's why I set the live stream up yesterday just so people had time. Is YouTube, you can't trust YouTube to send notifications. You just got to check in with the channel. You guys know I try to do a Scream video like once a week, once every 2 weeks on like the downtime, you know. So when there's not a lot of stuff, maybe once every 2 weeks is how often I do it. But obviously when there's stuff like this, every day, every day. And I have videos, ideas for the next like 3 days till like Monday through Monday. So just every day, come back, check the channel. If you don't get notifications, there's probably going to be a Scream video the next few days, and then we'll see after. To me, it seems like they want a reason to move on from Melissa, probably because of money, so they can pay Nev and Jenna more. And look how that's working out for them. Yeah, yeah, and that would be weird, wouldn't it? Like they wanted to pay Jenna more, even though she couldn't be in the movie too much, so they got rid of Melissa. And it's like, well, how much was Melissa asking for? I don't understand the penny pinching of this specific situation. Like, look, Hollywood is all about money and all about pinching pennies, right? But you are talking sometimes in Hollywood about lots of millions of dollars, right? Many millions. It's like, for a film like this, was it really gonna hurt to give Melissa, like, unless it was outrageous, right? I guess the question would be, what was it jumping from? Because say Jenna made like 2 million in Scream 6 and now she wants 8. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of money, and I could see why you would say no, and that's a big jump because that is like quadruple, right? But if you're going from, say like Melissa made 2 or 3 and she's going to like 4 or 5. If you're going up by like 2 million, what's the harm? Truly, what is the harm? Because you're going to make your money back. If the movie makes 150 million and your budget's even 40 million, you're going to make plenty. You're going to make plenty of money back. And the franchise is healthy and all this stuff. So, I just really, it depends on, I guess, the money. And it was the same thing even for Nev in 6. It's like, well, what was the difference? Was she asking for 2 million and you were paying her 1 million? Is that what you did all of this for? Or, 1.5 million? If it was like 5, 6, 7, $8 million difference, then yeah, that would be a big deal. But I don't think it is. Like, you know, Mason and Jasmine and stuff. How big are their? They're probably not big at all. Devin Dakota for 6. How much is that contract? Very little. These people are not big. They're not. So, and that's literally just the way that it is. So I don't know. I don't understand. I get penny pinching, I guess, in Hollywood, but for like this specific example, I don't really think it'd be worth fighting over a couple. Even if everything equated to say like 10 million more, so your budget was 10 million more dollars than it was, that is a lot, but like I think you'd be okay as long as the movie doesn't completely suck. And even if it does, and you lose all that money, well, you would have lost money anyway. If your movie really bombed, you'd bomb anyway. It's not like you'd make money, so you're just losing a little bit more. Like, who cares, right? You're gonna sell it. You're gonna be done with the franchise anyway after that. I don't know. Going back to a mostly white cast would be a bad look if Spyglass does that. The U.S. and Scream audience has changed. Oh, yeah, because of their background, I assume you mean Melissa and Jenna's. Possibly. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get back into that stuff. Nope. The biggest thing is 40% of the audience is under 25 now. Going back to the original cast is not going to serve as arguably the biggest demographic now. They need a young cast to be successful. True. They need a young cast with like recognize. Again, I'm really going to stick by what I say every single one of these streams. I don't think actors are as powerful as we think they are, or as some think they are. There are exceptions. I think Jenna Ortega is an exception. So I guess I'd be asking, not you again, but okay, if you want to do like a fresh thing and you're trying to get, say, actors that are like 25, 26 and younger, right? Who do you pick? And like, will they actually get butts and seats? And my controversial opinion is generally no. It depends on the franchise, or it doesn't depend. It's based off of other things than that. I really don't think actors have that kind of power. And like I said, there are exceptions. I think Jenna Ortega is an exception. That's why I think Melissa Barrera is not an exception. I think she does not get people to go see anything. Nev Campbell, I don't think gets people to see almost anything either. Again, like maybe a little, maybe like 2 million off the box office, 5 million off the box office, maybe. But that's a big stretch. Maybe Jenna Ortega, though, is like a 10, 12 million swing. Maybe if you have her, you make 10 million more than you would. If you don't have her, you make 10, 15 million less. It's not 30. It's not 50 million. It's not, it's nothing like that. And if it's like a Melissa or a Jasmine or a Mason, if it's like a Jasmine or a Mason, you're probably losing out on like 20,000. Like you're like, I'm serious. And it's not an insult to these people. These people are talented. It's a again, like it's what I say with Steven and all them. It's more of just like we're all the same. Like I think with social media, just the way that it is, I think that they're looked at as gods, but they're really not as much as they were. And I just don't think they drive money. I really don't. And even I said with Jenna, did Jenna make Wednesday or did Wednesday make Jenna? And I think it's a mix. Um, but that's my controversial opinion. It really is. I agree the cast is younger, so you probably want younger stars and like I agree with that comment. Going older, going back to Nev probably doesn't jive with a bunch of the new 18-year-olds that came in because of Jenna Ortega. It probably doesn't work. However, again, like okay, well you find a 23-year-old actress. Well, who? Like who? And who like demands that people go see them in theaters? Because I really don't think that happens. I really don't. Maybe like a Jennifer Lawrence, by the way, would be another example of breaking the trend. I know diehard Scream fans will love to see Sydney back. For all the new fans that love Sam and Tara, would they really? Exactly. Exactly. I can read the future. I can read comments without actually reading them. I think them postponing it for them to really apologize and come out and try their best to fix it and reverse it. Wait to see what happens. I agree, Wicked. And what's up, buddy? Hope you're having a good Black Friday and had a good Thanksgiving. Yep, I agree with you. Oh, the super chat didn't send. I'm sorry. I appreciate the super chat. I love your Scream content. Thank you. Straight to the point and easy to read. I love it. No, I appreciate that. Sorry, it never popped up. I love StreamYard, and Steven got me into StreamYard, but it didn't show me that super chat came through. I apologize. Okay. Okay. What do you think they will do with the script if by whatever miracle they all make it right and are able to get Melissa and Jenna back? Same. Oh, yeah, no, I think you got to rewrite it no matter what, right? Even like it's a small group that knows, maybe, but no, it is. No, it's not maybe. The people that know now what the script would have been and like the killers is probably worth like $5 million at the box office. So technically, you wouldn't have to rewrite it. You would make people like us extremely upset. Like I would flip out. And I think everybody should flip out if they just kept it the same. So no, I would fully expect a rewrite. But yeah. I think Scream 7 has a chance of succeeding if they get Nev and have a great story. Yeah. I think Scream 7 can still be successful. I do. I don't know exactly how successful. I don't know the names that are going to be thrown at Nev or at people that go see the movie. I'm sure there'll be some stuff that happens, but like I guess it'll be a real test for the Scream community to kind of just like respect again people's boundaries, right? That you can see and you can spend on whatever you want, and it's not up to somebody else how you spend your money. They are allowed to comment on it, but then when you get into like insults and threats and stuff, like that's too far, right? So you can have an opinion on it. You can say, well, I don't like that you're spending money to see Scream 7, and that's fine. You don't have to support that. But to then say, well, you must support blank if you do, and that is a big problem with society, right? If you do this, you must support this. Nope, those are two separate things. You combine them into one. That's on you. That's not on me. And that's where we are right now. So it'll be a big test for the already very over, what would be the right word? Like the Scream community definitely oversteps their boundaries so often. And it'd be a big test for them, regardless for whatever happens with Scream 7. Give apologies and a little pay bump. Yeah. And I don't think they're going to do that. Regardless of how Scream 6 ended, it's clear there's still more story there with Carpenters. I don't care if they walked off into the sunset. Agreed. There is more story. There is. It's not perfect, but I think the ending of Scream 6 still works as an ending. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I like it like a lot. Like, and I just watched it. Like not a few weeks, maybe like a month and a half ago. I watched it, and the ending is powerful, and like it was cool like to watch them walk off, and then like Demi Lovato's song plays, which is a solid song, and like it's a cool ending, but. And I think it serves as an ending for 6. Okay, so that's the difference, right? I think the ending of 6 is a legitimate ending, but it is not, as Austin actually pointed out, it is not it's not a proper ending for the Carpenter sisters. That's how I guess I'd word it. It's not an ending for them. It's an ending for that movie's story, which was good. I still like it. I still like the ending. That's how I would describe it. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No. I mean, that's your opinion. That's fine. No, we gotta respect each other's opinions. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't agree with that. I think recasting would just be a terrible. Not just is it a terrible look. Like for me, you want my opinion? I would hate it. I'd hate if they recast it, and I think generally that's just a really bad look. Stu lives, maybe. Like I said, you gotta give it a conversation, but I don't know if Stu actually lives. If they film it late 2024, that might make them reconsider and try to get Melissa and Jenna back. Yeah, but like the script would already have to be done, and then you're not gonna rewrite the script 3 times. Oh, you might for fun, you might do it. Star Wars and god awful Ghostbusters remakes. I haven't seen that. Well, the 2016 Ghostbusters one obviously was an abomination, but the new one with Paul Rudd I actually haven't seen yet. But Star Wars is an abomination. That's true. Star Wars became Episode 4. Oh, you're literally saying, whoops. Oh, we're back to the part. Oh yeah, I'm very behind. See, I try to give all these comments. Like I said, I try to respect you guys and read all of the comments, but because of that, I oftentimes get so behind. So we're now at the point where I said which movies changed names. So Ghostbusters, Star Wars. Yeah, because Star Wars became Episode 4. How could I not have thought of Star? That's my it used to be my favorite film franchise. Movies have absolutely 100% changed styles after release, but more so older films, more indie films. Okay. Awesome. Thanks. That's a good name. Because I was going to say thanks, but then that's your name. Original Star Wars. Okay, so Star Wars. Raiders of the Lost Ark is now referred to as Indiana Jones. And Raiders of the Lost Ark is now referred to as Indiana Jones. I gotcha. Okay. So yeah, so it has happened. Okay, good. Good. So yeah, let's do it. I mean, like I'm all for it. Change Scream to Scream 5. Like do that tomorrow just for fun. You don't need to wait on that. Do you think there's a chance they cancel 7? I think there is a chance. I think there is because like at any point they could have this meeting, right? This fictional meeting and say, this is just not working. We cannot do this. So I think there is a chance. I really do. I don't think it's a high chance. I think it's more likely that it happens, but I think there is a chance. Now that they've moved on slightly from Nev's story in 5 and 6, as much as she is the franchise, I feel it's weird to like it. Yeah, I mean, isn't it weird? Like, here's the thing: like Nev Campbell, like I love Nev Campbell, I love Sydney, and she's my favorite character in Scream still. Like Sam is so good in 6, and Tara I think is a really good character in both the movies, so she's kind of higher up there. But like Sydney to me is still the best character that we've ever gotten from Scream, period. I think she's still the best final girl we've gotten from Scream, period. So isn't it like weird that like you might very well get her back for 7, and yet we're kind of like, is it even worth it? Like, isn't that so strange? Because this is what we wanted for 6. We wanted her back, and we spent weeks talking, months, years, maybe not years, months at least, talking about it, right? And now she might come back. We might get like a legit OG story that's got nothing to do with like these new characters. And like, we're not really okay with it. And I don't think that's like a bad thing. I think that's the way that it worked. I think that is for although all the writing slams, that they get of their, the writing quality in 5 and 6, I think they nailed Sam's character in 6. Like, from start to finish, I think she was an amazing character. I think Tara was really good for both. And she was way better than Sam in 5, my opinion. So, although the writing has been criticized a lot, and I agree with a lot of it as well, they can write really good characters. So, it's just odd. It's just odd where we're at. Where, like you said, it's weird to go back. Like, it's actually not something we're all that for, even though we kind of should be for it, or we would have been for it like 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's just odd. They should pay Nev at least. I can tell you right now that would never happen. 10 million is a lot, just generally. And I'd have a very hard time believing any horror franchise has paid anybody $10 million ever to star in it. Does she deserve that? Probably, but like, will she ever get it? No. Oh, when I mean OG, I mean Gale, Sydney, Dewey reboot. Yeah. So more like, after 4, which, like I said, I think that's something that you should consider. But you have to remember who's writing it. It's the writers of 5 and 6, right? So they're not going to pretend like their 5 and 6 didn't happen. I just find that hard to believe. Thanks for stopping by, Wicked. We'll talk soon on Discord. um, Screw Gen Z. Steven, what's going on? Denisha, what's up? How's it going, everybody? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and are enjoying the Black Friday. I'd love to see Sydney return and Stu return. Yeah, I think you're gonna get the first one. I'm a longtime Scream fan. I just don't miss Sydney yet. I kind of want her to step away for a while so we get a break and let the next time she's on screen actually mean something. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I will agree, but I guess I will agree controversially that I actually think it's odd to say because I agree it hasn't been that long, but to me it's been long enough. Like where I feel like if she comes back, let's say as a main role in 7, it'll feel refreshing. It'll feel like, okay, I missed this character. I'm glad she's back just one movie later. But I could, depending on where you're at, right? You could say, nah, I kind of wanted her to be gone like 5 years or miss 2 or 3 movies and then come back. Like I get that. For me, I think it's a good spot. So everybody go support Steven of Craven Something Scary, by the way. Great guy. Great guy. We just had a live stream on, was it Wednesday? Yes, on Wednesday. It was a great stream, actually. It did really, really well on the channel. They're fumbling the bag, messing with their actors like that. Agree. Yep. Vince is Leslie Mocker's son. Yep. But like, he died from either Richie or Amber, depending on who you believe. And like, you know what I mean? That doesn't, like, they were going after Sam. So I guess you could like form that, but I don't know. You could, I mean, like, I guess it'd be who's more important to Leslie, right? Her brother or her son? Generally, kids are more important than like anything. So I guess you could say that. But like Sydney killed her brother. I guess, okay, so my issue would be if Leslie attacked Sam and gang for Vince. Number one, oh my God. I guess you're like redeeming Vince, the most forgettable character in the franchise. Number two, though, why, if she's that unhinged, right? Killing somebody because killing somebody because your son was like part of like a group that like just got caught up in the wrong situation means like you're unstable, right? So why didn't she attack Sydney 25 years ago after she directly killed her brother? Why would she do that, right? That makes no sense. So that would be my main issue with her. I don't think they realize they're in the Fast and Furious lane, spend very little on the movie, and make hella money. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I really, yeah, I believe like that's why I think 5 million here, 2 million here, 500,000 here, like it adds up. And you can't, I guess, do it for everybody. But at least your main stars you can to keep them happy and keep them there. And like you're not like I said, like at best, you make the same amount, maybe you make even a little bit more, and you make all your money back. Everything's good. At worst, your movie bombs, you lose money, but you would have lost money anyway. And so what does it matter if you gave Jenna a $2 million raise? If your movie bombs, it bombs. Everybody loses out. Jenna is now linked to a failed movie. You are linked to a failed movie. You lost money. She got paid more, but like overall, everybody loses. So, and you would have lost anyway, even if you didn't pay her 2 million. So I'm just like throwing out that number. So I really don't understand that. I don't. It is Sydney time. Bring back the legacy cast and salvage Scream 7 Stu Nation. Oh my God. I saw Steven, you live streamed yesterday for Thanksgiving night. I respect that. I think it's cool. I've always wanted to stream on like Christmas Eve or Christmas. Maybe one year I will. Not this year, but maybe one year. They have nothing left to do to make this film good. They might have to bring back the OG and they could make a new core 4 with Mark, Sidney, Gale, and Dewey. Yeah. Yeah. I think making a new core 4 is kind of insulting to the original core 4, but they could. I legit can't believe they fumbled Jenna Ortega. Like, that's insane to me. This sound easy. Yeah. Like, she is like like, I keep bringing up names, right? Like, you have, like, the biggest names of, like, the Tom Cruises of the world, and I think, like, music stars, right, that they're actually probably bigger than most Hollywood, so, like, the Taylor Swifts, Selena Gomez, Ariana Grande, like, them kinda stuff, but, like, Jenna is probably top 5 or top 10 hottest thing in Hollywood at such a young age, and like, to be in a top 5 or top 10 at 21 is pretty impressive to and you got in on her before she was that. Like, you saw something where you probably saw the potential and you said, "Yeah, she fits the age range, she fits like maybe the heritage or the look or whatever, and we're going to go with it." And you got lucky. You got lucky because I don't think you expected what happened. And how you messed that up is like almost a criminal offense. Like, somebody should be arrested for messing that relationship up with Jenna so badly. Spyglass, you should be arrested. So that's my opinion. I think if Gale dies, Sydney should be in the Scream movie. If it's Scream, yeah, I mean, at this point, just leave him alone. Don't kill him. So I think Stu could still be alive. Well, like I said, I think you have a talk about it, but please, enough of this Stu mess. See, it's a fight. I think, like I said, to play it fair, I think you have a talk about Stu because right now you should be talking about anything and everything possible to like help your movie. Ultimately, I still don't think it's the right move. That's just me. If Scream 7 gets canceled, will you cover? No, no. I mean, somebody did ask me to cover Saw, and I did watch a rather long essay video on like the complete story. And I've seen like parts of Saw movies. I knew like parts of the story, but not the whole thing. Now I know the whole story, and I gotta tell you, that Saw lore is deep and weird and sometimes stupid and like odd. And I really do actually like it, but I'm a really big baby when it comes to like the traps and stuff. So I will never watch a Saw movie like in theaters. That will never happen. And so I don't know. That would be story wise, like probably the closest I could back. I watched the Halloween trilogy. I hated it. Like the first one was fine, but I really didn't like this new Halloween trilogy we got. I don't know, like that Camp Crystal Lake show. Maybe I'd watch, but like I don't know. I don't cover that stuff. So Scream is really, I cover what I feel like covering, I guess is the easy answer, right? I'm not going to cover something. And I want to be on, like, I want to cover something that I have passion about. I'm not going to cover something just to cover it. So if I covered, a Nightmare on Elm Street thing, I wouldn't have the same passion. So like, why should people watch if I don't have a passion for it? And I was the same way with games too. I would cover games that I didn't care about early on, 6-7 years ago. I'd cover games I didn't care about. And like, you could tell what I knew stuff about, what I didn't know stuff about, what I cared about, what I didn't. So, nah, Scream is what I care about. I'm good at it. I know my stuff. I'm passionate about it. I think you guys can tell that. So I'll just wait. Scream will always be around. It'll always, Ghostface is an icon. Even when Roger can't do it anymore, it'll still be an icon. There'll always be Scream things happening. Just maybe without Nev or without Roger, or without this and stuff. There'll always be Scream, and I'll always cover it as long as I can, I guess. But I'm still relatively young, so I can do it. Instead of backtracking onto Sydney, we should focus on to Kirby. Ooh, unless the Sydney story was going on at the same time as 6, which would also explain everybody's absence. That's an interesting thought. I think the issue with Kirby is just Hayden isn't big enough to do like in a perfect world, I'd have a Kirby show, like easily. I'd green light that like the first day in the job, because I think that'd be fun. But I just don't think, I don't know how profitable. You got to remember money. You got to remember profitability. So yeah. Please let the old people go. We need new blood. Well, we had new. I mean, the issue with this, again, not necessarily attacking you, Ice Cold Juice. That's a great name. Is we did, like we did let old people go because 5 was literally to give it to a new generation. 6 went so far out of its way to disrespect the original final girl, not have her be in the movie, and have the entire movie generally be about four people who the leading lady is a little bit older than the rest of them in Melissa, but they're all young, specifically Jenna, right? Super young. So like, the idea that they did want that. They did that. And I think they actually did it pretty okay. The issue is some moron high up at Spyglass made this decision, and now they literally have to backtrack on older cast and OGs and legacy because they destroyed the relationship with all the new people. So, yeah. So yeah. I don't want this to go down the Halloween route, but they should focus on Sydney, then make no more movies, at least for 10 more years. It could be. We might not get another Scream. I said 5. My opinion's 5. Especially because like for Halloween, like aren't they going to do something for Halloween like soon again, right? Maybe it's like a show or something. I don't know. Is there rumors on a Halloween thing? I don't think you in modern day, I don't think you let something rest for 10 years. So, all right, we're going to try to rifle through these because it is getting a little bit. I still got to make some videos today. So I got to, I want to get through this stuff. Not to rush you. Not to rush you. If there's any final thoughts, let me know now. Any super chats, get to the front of the line and we'll go from there. But I'm going to try to wrap this up in the next 5-10 minutes. Okay, rapid fire. I just wish Spyglass would sell the rights, let another company take over and fix the mess. Agreed. That's my comment. I love your content. How was your Thanksgiving? Well, thank you. And it was good. It was good, honestly. A lot of food. Going to eat it again for dinner. I think it was really good. It was one of my better. I make it all. Christy makes some, but like I run the food show. I think I did a really good job. So I'm excited to eat it again. And I'm excited for Christmas because Christmas is kind of just almost the same as Thanksgiving, but I swap a couple of side dishes out, do some fun stuff. So yeah. I make a lot. Let's just get real stupid. Okay, I love it. With 7 and do a prequel to 5 and 6 about Jack Quaid and Dermot. Oh my God, yes. Again, like, yeah, that is, yeah. I mean, that would be getting real stupid, but I kind of would dig it. Jack Quaid was really good. I really liked Richie. I'm sorry. And Dermot Mulroney, I think he was miscast, I think, but he did, I think, the best job he could have done. And yeah, I think I'd watch something with those two together. I really do. I don't know if it'd be a good movie, but what if they make Scream 7 happen at the same time as 6? That's what that earlier comment was saying, right? That would be interesting. But like, I don't like, Gail said Sydney's staying out of it. She didn't say Sydney's getting attacked. You could do something where Sydney, but okay, here's the thing. If you do something at the same time as 6 with Sydney, then it's like you still need to make another movie and bring the Carpenter sisters back. So then it's like, are you willing to do that? And that would probably be where the problem lies. Not sure Spyglass game plan, but maybe bring back Stu now because I'm not sure what they can do with 2 leads gone now. Unless they recast. Yeah, like I said, you do not recast. I think period. And then Stu, I think would work for some. I think it wouldn't work for a lot. But like I said, I think it's a conversation they should at least have. I assume you say like. I don't like the 4 core. I don't like the core 4. And that's fine. Like I said, it really doesn't have to do with liking or not liking them. It's more of like you built everything on them, and I would have liked to see. Oh, I don't like the core 4. And that's fine. You don't have to like them, But I think they need to finish that story. No worries, Nicholas. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and a good Black Friday, getting a lot of gaming deals or whatever's going on. Unless Leslie and Stu weren't close, maybe he was a monster to her. As Leslie might thank Sydney for getting rid of him. That's fair. That's a fair point. Depends on the relationship, right? But yet again, Vince didn't really seem like a model child. So, like, was she a great mom to him? Did she care about him? And also, I guess, and I said this in the video where we talked about that rumored script. I just don't like the idea of doing Revenge again because you did Revenge in 2. That's fine. You did Revenge in 6, which I think is also kind of fine because it's been long enough. But if you do Revenge you just did it in 6. You're going to do it in 7 as well, back to back. So that's something I just remembered why I don't like it. The only way I see them making this movie a success is going new Nightmare route and bringing back Drew Barrymore, Matthew Lillard, etc. as themselves. I don't like it, but it would sell the best. Bringing them back as literally Drew Barrymore and Matthew Lillard, that'd be interesting. That'd be weird, but maybe that would work. Maybe. I can't believe they messed up with Melissa and Jenna. This is a bad look for them to do. Yes, agreed. Agreed. If 7 is canceled, I think they should make a series like TV. Yeah, I think they should have made a TV series anyway. Really, and a game. Maybe if Nev does not come back, you can keep Kirby, Gail, Chad, and Mindy. And yeah, yeah. I mean, and again, like, could that work? Yes. I just don't know if it would like make money. That would be my thing. Like, do those 4 make money for Scream? I don't know. You could say how big Courtney Cox was big. Okay, Courtney Cox is no longer. Courtney Cox back with like Jennifer Aniston, back with like Friends days, right? They were big. They were like still older, but they were like Jenna Ortega now, right? But they are not. Nobody goes to see something. And when I say nobody, I mean, are you going to get more than like an extra million because of Courtney Cox? No, you're not going to make 15 million more because of Courtney Cox. So, I think it would work, and I don't think I wouldn't want to see that movie, but like I just don't think that would ever happen. You know what I mean? There's just that's the difference. So you're a filthy casual and horror. I mean, I just like Scream. Like I like what I like. You know what I mean? I like in games. I'm not picky. I'm not. Movies. I am picky. Like that's just I don't know. That's just what I am. Leslie and Christina were the killers. That is stupidly predictable. Yeah, that too. Beyond, like, once you see that Leslie Mocker is in the movie, you say that's a killer. That's the killer. You do what Quinn says. There's the killer. That's what you say immediately. And when you see Christina Carpenter, you say, I got my like. I think Leslie Mocker, as soon as she appears on screen, you say she's a ghost face. And then when you see Christina, you say you're probably a ghost face. I'm gonna keep my eye on you. And like that is such a bad way to. So in a way, I would have liked to have seen this Scream 7, but I also would have probably hated that part of it, which I think a lot of people would. Nev should come back. She probably will. Have I seen any Eli Roth films? Probably. Didn't he just do Thanksgiving? I haven't watched Thanksgiving yet, but I've probably seen a movie he's made. What's that one with like cannibals? Green Inferno? I've seen like parts of that. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I know who he is. I know his movies, some, and I've probably seen parts of his movies. They can still change their mind. If not, bring back Nev and make Sing the main focus again, and bring back Stu as the killer with a disfigured face. I agree with all of it, except for maybe that ending. Nah, I agree. The core 4 wore out their welcome for me. I'm excited to see where Scream 7 will go. That's fair. That's fair. I just would have liked to have seen an end to their story. By 2030, yes. And this is where I think they're going. Yeah. Like 1,000% believe this is what's going to happen. Sydney's kids will be teens so they can be the heroes in the new Scream. Yep. I think that's going to be the new final girls of the night. And doesn't even need to be, like 2030, like 7 years, right? Doesn't literally need to be, say they're like 2 years old in Scream 5. So you need to wait like 12 more years till they're in the right age, or 15 more years till they're like 17, 18. You could wait 5 to 8 years and then just say in movie time that it was longer. You know what I mean? Like that's all you have to do. So that's what I think. Now, this I don't agree with. I respect your opinion, but no, I do not agree with that. I think the story of 6 was complete. I do not think their story was complete, specifically Sam. Everybody else, yeah. Actually, I think everybody but Sam's story is actually kind of complete. Extra stupid idea. Love it. Billy is a weird ghost. Let's just get all the ghost faces from Scream's past and have them planning a ghostly revenge. Yes. Yes, ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. I did have a great Thanksgiving. Good, very good. Hope you did too. I don't usually go out for Black Friday. Christy's out. Christy and my daughter, they're out, but not me. We already got our stuff. They're out for fun. They're probably spending our money like never before out there right now. But no, I don't. I personally don't go out. I went out 6 years ago. Six. I went out when we were in Vegas still, I think. So I haven't gone out the last 3 or 4 Black Fridays. Yeah. They should do a Scream 7, but it probably be in a different medium. Like a comedy, like a musical, like Alan Wake. Flip the script, bring back the cult idea, bring Stu as the leader, Mindy as the leader if you're against Stu. Kirby is a member of the cult as well. Oh man, I like the cult idea. I just don't know who the leader would be, but I like that idea. Since we know they won't kill Nev and they won't kill young children, who do we? Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Who would we even be afraid for an upcoming 7 about her? They need to make a. Yep, you would need to build up. Um, okay, well, to be fair, they've done that for most of these movies. Um, like you think of Scream 1, you're just introducing them, so like anybody's fair game, and you just got to make people really likable, right? Scream 2, you go in and you only have the core 4. You have the original 3, and then you have Randy, and you kill off Randy. So you did have an impactful. So I guess what you'd probably do is maybe you do bring back Chad and Mindy, and you kill one of them, and then you even flirt with the idea of killing. Maybe you kill Kirby, so it's just Sydney, Gale, and one of the twins, and then Sam and Tara are. I don't love that because say if you kill Chad, then like Tara should be a part of that. So Chad would then, to me, Chad should be safe. So then you have to kill Mindy. So you kill Mindy, maybe you kill Kirby. Um, Maybe you flirt with killing Mark, but you don't actually do it, right? Something like that. And then yeah, but I mean, like you're right. You have to then make good new characters, which they have done in the past. They have made good. Kirby was a new character, right? Sam and Tara were new characters. Chad was a new character. So characters that you like at some point were new. So yeah, I think it just kind of puts more pressure that they have to do it. Annika was a great character, not in it too much, but she was a great character. So you'd have to do that. And Annika did really well. And well, she did really well. I lost my train of thought. She did really well, and we cared about her, so that when she died, even though it was not a lot of time we got with her, we still felt like crushed. It was also driven by everybody else being crushed about her, but we were also crushed. So. Oh, a comic or a video? Yes. I mean, give me a video game any day, man. On it, like Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. I think for me, the Carpenter sister story ended in 6. Yeah, I mean, I think Tara's ended. I don't think Sam's story ended. Oh yeah, what happened to Danny? Just bring Danny back. Yep. Even in the new script, he just wasn't there. I think that's just either a miscommunication or I think they just didn't know what they had in Danny. I don't know about killing off Mark for sure because then the kids don't have a dad, and that's kind of dark. I mean, these movies should be dark to a degree, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, killing Mark would raise the stakes. Let's be real. Killing Kirby. If Sydney coming back or the news, it's awful. Scream 7 needs to continue, even if it's the final one. Let Sydney have her ending. I think Sydney will come back. All right. I actually did it. We caught up. So I'll head off for now. I really appreciate you guys being here. This was awesome. And I'm glad I got to read, all of your thoughts. So I'll be doing videos, the next couple days. We'll just talk about probably just more condensed versions of things we talked about today, just some topics that have been going around. And we'll go from there. Okay. I don't know. Oh no, I got to get to the super chat. There's no, I can't leave that. I appreciate it, buddy. Mr. Bit Player. There's a lot of division going around between old fans and new fans. That's true. And a lot of disingenuous information going around, especially the denial of Scream 5 and 6's success and Sam and Tara's impact. Yep. And I've called it out, I don't think I'm very popular like in the Twitter Scream community because I just like don't take their garbage. Because there is a lot of like revisionist is probably a right term too. Like revisionist history where like Sam and Tara and all this stuff. And look, ultimately, people have made some like good comments to me where you can want things to get better. Like maybe you didn't support 5 and 6, but you still wanted Sam and Tara to be better. But yeah, there's a lot of like messy stuff online. And Sam, I think, was a really great character in 6 and drove the movie. Jenna's impact on the film, you can't, deny it. You can't like pretend like it didn't happen, right? So yeah, they're in quite the mess. I don't think it's as easy to clean it up as simply getting like it may work. It may be what they do, But I do not think simply getting Nev on board and saying, all right, let's go. I don't think it's as simple as just doing that to like make all of this stuff go away. I think this stuff is going to be around the entire time. Filming it when the movie comes out, or promotion for it when the movie comes out, after the movie. This is still going to be around. Is it going to be the main thing people talk about? Maybe not. Maybe people get distracted by the movie, which is fine if you want to do that. Because it is escapism. It is literally why we're here. But like it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away so much more than like the Nev stuff. The Nev stuff stuck around, but it kind of got quieter. This stuff will get quieter because news moves and people's minds wander, right? But this will stick around the entire time. When they're filming it, you're going to be talking about Melissa and Jenna. When they're promoting it, when the trailer comes out, you're going to be talking about Sam and Tara. When the movie's being promoted, you're going to want them to ask them about Melissa and Jenna. When the movie comes out, you're going to watch the movie and you're going to be thinking of Jenna or Tara and and Sam at that time, right? That's going to happen. And for people to think again, like it could still all work out, but if you think it's just going to go away, or they can just like magically make it go away, say with just Nev, no, not gonna happen. So I appreciate the chat or the super chat. Okay. Sydney's lost enough loved ones. Let her husband live. Yes, I agree. I have faith in Chris too, but I don't know. This one's definitely tough. Here's how we fix it. The last two movies were a part of the Scream multiverse. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, and that is, you couldn't legitimately do that. And I wouldn't hate it, but it would just be very weird. That's all. It would just be weird. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If you celebrate, hope you have a good Black Friday. If you're celebrating or spending your money, I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate the super chats, all that stuff. There'll be videos the next couple days. I don't know when the next live stream will be, but clearly there's interest in me talking to you, which I really am thankful for. So if there's another big thing that happens, say when Nev, if Nev gets announced, any kind of big news story on Scream, maybe we'll do, I like to stream on Fridays. Fridays are kind of my day. So I know Lethal Collective and all that does it too, but I would do it maybe earlier in the day. I don't know. I will do more Scream live streams, I guess, when big stuff happens for Scream, okay? That's generally, I guess, the plan. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Have a good Black Friday, and we'll see you all on the next one.